All right, last question comes from Doc Fab, who says, hello, I want to express my gratitude for the work you are doing. Your fair, detailed, well-documented comments speak to people of many persuasions. Specifically, my 31-year-old son and I, who's 75, now have many points of agreement ever since he started listening to you. And we can talk again. Woo! Because you adhere to your principles, more people can hear what I believe is the truth. Many, many thanks for your good work. I tell as many people as possible to tune in, and the ones who do are appreciative too. All right, let me just say here, just because that was very, very filled with praise, that I don't choose these questions. I rely on my colleagues to do so, in part because I want to make sure that I'm not just picking the things that I want to talk about, but things that maybe push me out of my comfort zone. So if there's a question that's heaping a lot of praise on me, it's not because I chose it, it's because someone here thought that it raises some important issues. I do glance at the questions just to make sure that it's worth speaking about, but I don't really read them. I want to have the first time that I'm really concentrating on them be live on camera so that my answer is more natural and less planned. I think that's the point of a Q&A, as opposed to a show where you're sort of more committed to an idea ahead of time about what you want to say. But this is probably the type of comment that I appreciate the most, because I want to just be honest for a second about independent media. I'm a big fan of independent media. I think independent media has become an important alternative to and check against corporate media. It's provided people the emancipation not to be captive to corporate media, to get their information from other sources. It's why I came to Rumble, because Rumble, I believe, is one of the very, very, very few companies that has a genuine commitment to free speech, not just branding themselves as such. But the problem with independent media is that you don't have funding sources by definition. You don't work for a gigantic media corporation the way CNN or ABC News or MS, et cetera, or Fox. And typically you don't have big corporate advertisers. You won't hear, Aetna or Boeing or any major company, Pfizer, advertising on our show or anywhere on Rumble. And so people who want to be able to be an independent journalist and make a living out of it have to rely upon the support from their viewers. And by far the easiest way to do that, the way that's most likely to succeed, and not just succeed, but potentially make you quite wealthy, is if you plant your flag in a party or a political movement or an ideology, and your viewers know that that's their ideology, that's their party, that's their movement, and they're going to come to rally around the flag, whatever that flag is. And you're never going to tell them anything that upsets them or alienates them. You're never going to criticize that flag and the movement that the flag represents. And there is a lot of independent media like that. I mean, it's by far the easiest thing to do. You say, I'm on the left, I'm a Democrat, I'm a never Trump conservative, I'm a MAGA person, and then just everything you say and do is aligned with whatever you need to align yourself with to advance and defend and justify whatever that particular faction is doing. And it is tempting. You look around and you see how many people are succeeding in a very lucrative way by doing that. I mean, I guess it's tempting to some people. It just isn't for me, because I think what's so important is I didn't enter journalism because that was my career goal. I didn't enter it with any career ideas at all. I entered it because I wanted to say things that weren't being said. I wanted them to be heard. And as I recounted, I never wanted to attach myself to a party. I never wanted to attach myself and be imprisoned by an ideology. I most definitely didn't want to have to remain loyal to a particular politician or a set of politicians. That sounds so dreary and awful and anti-intellectual and just drained of all of its integrity. I'd have no passion doing that whatsoever. And so I know that by criticizing Democrats, but then also criticizing conservatives in the Trump movement and never just feeding people all the time what they want to hear, that does cost you viewers, that costs you supporters, that costs you whatever, it costs you followers on social media, it costs everything. But I think one of the things that is important to me is that, and I'm quite grateful for and aware of, is that I am at a point in my career, I have enough of a platform that I built up over many years that I don't really have to worry about losing a part of my audience in a way that would make it no longer feasible for me to do this work. I'd much rather lose 10 to 15% of our audience, as we did almost immediately after October 7th, in order to be able to pursue the truth as I see it, to present facts that I think need to be presented, to critique people who I think are not telling the truth, feel good about the work. But I realize that not everybody has that luxury. Some people can't lose that and continue to do the work. So I'm not necessarily judging them. I'm just saying what I feel like I have is a platform that enables me to avoid being captive to those kinds of pressures, that kind of audience capture, the need to just validate everybody's thoughts. And sometimes I think, like, if I don't do it, who's going to do that? I mean, there are obviously very big podcasts that don't have an allegiance to a political faction, Joe Rogan being the most obvious example, but Joe Rogan didn't really start as a political podcast, and he's not really even now a political podcaster. Most of what he does is not about politics. Politics is really secondary to what he does. And he's gained enough of a credibility with his audience that he can more or less free range on what he really thinks. I think he has become more loyal to, more supportive of Trump and the MAGA movement than he had previously been supportive of any one particular faction. But still, he's very capable of heterodoxy. But he's the exception because it's not a political podcast. This is a podcast about, or a show about journalism and politics. That's obviously what I do pretty much exclusively. I don't do a lot of cultural commentary. And so the easiest way to do that is to just plant your flag and then validate people's views. But when I hear a comment like that, like, hey, my son is over here and I'm over here, and we have very difficult time bridging the gap, but your show enables us to do that because we can count on you to kind of be reliable and telling us the things that you really think, and it's a window into having a more rational conversation than otherwise we might in terms of being super polarized. That's the kind of compliment of my work that I feel very grateful for and appreciative of, and that I really value, because it'd be much easier, much easier in my life and in every other way to just feed a group of people exactly what they want to hear. It's not hard to do that. It's very easy. You can just put yourself on autopilot and do it. But one of the things that I'm particularly appreciative of in life is that the work I've always done has been work that I'm passionate about. And if I were to do that, I wouldn't be passionate about it. I wouldn't feel like I had any integrity in it. I'm not perfect in it. I'm sure there are sometimes subconsciously where I avoid something or I say something because of that incentive. We're all human. We all have these incentives. But again, it's sort of like the tribalism I was talking about before. It's something that I think you have to work as hard as you can to avoid. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.